new carry as a downgrade. It's not a downgrade. It's side grade. It's just different. I feel like Hao's playstyle is very similar to probably Sylar, and Black is just different. He plays like Invoker and stuff in the safe lane, which we've probably never seen Hao play. And he, like, his Ember, his Razors, his Anti-Mage, those sort of things. And I don't really feel like he, pushes his opponents much like Ice does. And I feel like when they have, pressure in the safe lane, pressure in the off lane, their supports are, more likely to be able to find opportunities. But it just seems like their early game is just completely lacking. FY and Fenrir aren't, I don't know if they lack the opportunity creating skills or they're just nowhere to be found, but it just seems like their early game is not as strong as it once was.
Yeah, going back to that point where he was talking about F1 and Fenrir, when with Black, they are much more, they can do their own stuff. I think the main reason, from what I can see, is because of, it might be personalities, because when Black is in the team, maybe it's he doesn't provide as much of an opinion, he just tries to blend in the team, whereas when they have Hao is more of a, he wants to have more maybe control, because when he goes into the team, after a while, we saw him drafting for the team. So it might be a reasoning that he wants to incorporate some of his ideas into the team, whereas Black is more, I'll just try my best to follow your ideas and blend in. Whereas Hao is more, there's something that I want to add in towards the team.
Right.
So that might be the issue where it's struggling for them. They're struggling to find a balance between Hao and the rest of his teammates, resulting in F1 and Fenrir not shining as much as when they were playing with Black.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, we haven't gotten to see Newbies games too much here on the mainstream. So if we were to prime this Newbie versus Vici gaming, we're talking a little bit about Vici, maybe what their issues are, but overall, Ben, you were saying, well, the patch seems to still favor them decently enough. How do these two teams match up in playstyle? Do we have clear priority differences, or is it really just going to come down to in-game decisions?
I mean, this is a rematch of last year,
Yeah.
And at that time they seemed to be pretty much a mirror match, which team maybe had the better picks and was able to get that ball rolling a bit faster. Now, I don't know. I'm very curious to see if they're going to look to butt heads like they did back at TI, or if one of them is going to look to pull out something a bit different and catch their opponent off guard. It's hard to say.
I think Newbie still retains a lot of elements from last year. You can see it in the way that they move around, how early they group up, and how early they take objectives together. And even some of the hero picks, I think, are somewhat similar to last year. Whereas Vici, I think they've kind of branched off, and they do it sometimes, but it's usually with a different lineup. They incorporate Wisp a lot more, which I don't think Newbie has turned to very often at all. They have different mids, like Alchemist for Super, and